Have you ever seen sumo wrestlers and wondered about the economics behind their world, or scrutinized the naming trends of babies for hidden patterns? Welcome to a journey into the unexpected, where we delve deep into the surprising links and hidden truths that economics can reveal about life. Straying from the traditional path of supply and demand, we plunge into realms as diverse as the world of sumo wrestling, the business of drug dealing, and even seemingly innocuous baby naming. When we scratch beneath the surface, we find that our world is full of hidden patterns, waiting to be discovered. At the heart of this exploration is the concept of incentives. Understanding this pivotal principle can be the key to unlocking a hidden side of everything. You'll soon discover the conventional wisdom you've held dear might just be mistaken. As we probe deeper, some truths we unearth may be stranger than fiction. So, are you ready to question, think, and observe your world with fresh, unclouded eyes? Are you prepared to uncover the bizarre truths that lie beneath the surface of our everyday existence? Ever wondered what real estate agents and sumo wrestlers could possibly share in common? This unusual question is posed by the book Freakonomics, and surprisingly, the answer reveals some intriguing insights. Just like sumo wrestlers, real estate agents are locked in a cutthroat competition where every little edge can make a significant difference. However, in real estate, the key to winning is not physical strength, but information. The authors of Freakonomics introduce us to the concept of information asymmetry, a situation where one party possesses more or better information than the other, resulting in a power imbalance. This is quite visible in real estate, where agents have a vast pool of knowledge from understanding market trends to accurately pricing a property. Now, you'd assume that an agent would aim to get the highest possible price for a property, considering a higher selling price leads to a higher commission, right? But here's the twist. The authors argue that the extra commission earned from a slightly higher selling price may not be significant for an agent, but for the homeowner, every penny is crucial. Consequently, an agent might be more inclined to push for a faster sale at a lower price, benefiting from the saved time and resources, while the homeowner loses out on potential earnings. Thus, in the competitive arenas of real estate and sumo, information is king. But the power dynamics differ. Whereas sumo wrestlers exhibit their strength for all to see, in real estate, the force lies in the intricacies. So, remember, in the realm of economics, knowledge is the ultimate power, and the individual armed with the most information is usually the one who emerges victorious. Ever wondered why crime rates fell in the 1990s? This question might seem straightforward, but the answer is anything but. In the groundbreaking book Freakonomics, authors Levitt and Stephen Dubner propose a controversial theory that challenges conventional wisdom. Many of us remember the 1990s as a time of relative peace, a stark contrast to the crime-ridden 80s. The typical explanations for this shift have ranged from innovative policing strategies to a booming economy. But Levitt and Dubner suggest that these explanations, while plausible, may not tell the whole story. Instead, they propose a theory that is surprising and, for some, uncomfortable. They argue that the decline in crime rates during the 90s can be traced back to the landmark Supreme Court case, Roe v. Wade. This case, decided in the early 70s, legalized abortion across the United States. Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with crime rates 2 decades later? Well, Levitt and Dubner make a compelling argument. They suggest that the availability of legal abortion led to fewer unwanted children. These children, according to their theory, would have been more likely to grow up in adverse conditions, which could have increased their likelihood of engaging in criminal activities later in life. This theory, as you can imagine, has sparked much debate. Critics argue that it oversimplifies the complex factors that contribute to crime rates. Some even suggest that it dangerously veers towards eugenics. Levitt and Dubner, however, insist that they're merely highlighting a statistical correlation, not advocating for any specific policy. This discussion underscores a key theme in Freakonomics: the importance of questioning conventional wisdom. Levitt and Dubner encourage readers to look beyond the obvious, to dig deeper, and to consider the hidden factors that shape our world. So the next time you hear about a seemingly straightforward trend or phenomenon, remember this: sometimes, the most powerful factors are the ones we least expect. How powerful are incentives? Now that's a question that might have been lingering on your mind. In the world of Freakonomics, incentives are the driving force behind our actions, the invisible hand that shapes our decisions. Let's dive into some examples. the book takes us into the world of education and standardized testing. Here, incentives play a fascinating and somewhat alarming role. Teachers, under the pressure to meet certain standards, are incentivized to ensure their students perform well. This pressure, however, can lead to some unintended consequences. For instance, some teachers might resort to cheating, providing their students with answers to boost test scores. The incentive here is not just about maintaining a reputation, but also about securing jobs and funding. Similarly, students eager to meet the expectations of their parents and teachers might also be incentivized to cheat. The incentive here? High grades, scholarships, and the promise of a brighter future. It's a clear demonstration of how incentives, while intended to encourage positive behavior, can sometimes lead to negative outcomes. The power of incentives is not confined to education. It permeates every aspect of our lives, from the economy to politics, from health to environmental conservation. Incentives, both positive and negative, guide our actions, influence our decisions, and shape our behaviors. They drive competition, spark creativity, and fuel ambition. However, the power of incentives comes with a caveat. They can be a double-edged sword. While they can stimulate growth and progress, they can also lead to unintended consequences, as seen in the examples of teachers and students cheating. It's crucial to understand this dynamic and to balance incentives with ethical considerations and sustainable practices. Incentives are indeed powerful, and they are everywhere. They're the reason why you might choose to work overtime, why companies strive to innovate, and why nations compete for supremacy. They're the invisible forces that propel us forward, and sometimes they lead us astray. Incentives are the cornerstone of modern life, and they shape our actions in ways we often don't even realize. So, what have we learned from Freakonomics? In our exploration of this unique book, we've uncovered some astonishing truths that have been hiding in plain sight. By applying economic principles to everyday scenarios, Freakonomics has shown us the unexpected side of things we often take for granted. We've learned that our conventional wisdom about real estate agents might not be completely accurate. The art of selling isn't always about getting the highest price for the seller, but rather, it's often about striking the right balance between effort and reward. This lesson isn't limited to real estate. It applies to every corner of our lives where transactions take place. When it comes to crime rates, we've discovered that what we see on the surface isn't always the full picture. Sometimes, the most significant factors are those that are least expected. The decrease in crime rates in the 90s, for instance, was not due to innovative policing strategies or a booming economy, but to something as unforeseen as the legalization of abortion years prior. Incentives, we've found, wield a power like no other. They can influence our decisions, shape our behavior, and even determine the course of our lives. Whether it's teachers manipulating test scores or wrestlers taking a dive for a better position, incentives can sometimes lead us to paths we wouldn't normally tread. What ties all these hidden truths together is the idea that everything has a hidden side. Things are rarely as they seem on the surface, and there's always more to the story. It's a reminder to question, to probe, and to look beyond the obvious. It's a call to adopt a Freakonomics mindset. So, as we wrap up our journey through the insights of Freakonomics, let's take a moment to appreciate the hidden side of everything. Let's continue to question the status quo, to challenge our assumptions, and to seek out the unexpected truths all around us. Remember, the world is full of hidden truths, and sometimes it takes a Freakonomics mindset to uncover them.